already. You baited me. Oh, you just pammed me. Damn it. He's going to do that every time now. All right. I deserve
You're
that.
rolling. You're rolling.
I deserve that. I know. Luckily, I'll say anything in front of your face that I'll say behind your back.
There you go.
But what we're doing is more linear algebra. It's Sunday. I wonder what all the full times are doing. Probably not live streaming, but after shots are fired, what we're doing is 2B. We left off. B comes after A lexicographically, so we're in order. And as Lorenzo was saying, and he tried to trump me by not freaking starting go on the stream, but now we're live and he can't backtrack. He's like, I can mute you anytime. I've got all the controls at the front. But the first one was the only one that had a unique solution. This one has one, two, three, four. I can count to at least five. So there's five unknowns, but only three equations. So this is a 3 by 5. I'll remind everybody because he just had an exam and they're still in my truck and the truck's unlocked. Someone please come and steal them so I don't have to do it. But this is a 3 by 5, not a 5 by 3. 5 by 3 linear system, which means it has three equations and five unknowns. And this one's what we call underdetermined. So there can't be a unique solution. Underdetermined means that two of the columns, I even know which ones because Abby was getting me to help her just before class, and I think it's X3 and X5 will be the columns that don't have leading entry, so they'll be the free variables. That's how you tell once we row reduce it. When do you actually make the decision though? Not till I'm in REF of this system. And then this one's we're gonna run out of room real fast, so let me augment the matrix over here. Oh, there's some kind of scum on there. Let me see if I can get rid of that. Oh yeah, there we go. That was better. All right, so let me augment the matrix. Also, I don't have a leading one, but I have a negative one. So this is how you speed yourself up on exams and stuff like that. As I augment the matrix, I'm doing row 1 goes to negative row 1. So I'm just automatically going to do that. So what am I going to get? 1, -3, -1, 2, 1 equals 0. So I've already done a row operation just by translate into the augmented matrix. And then I have 2, 0, -1, 2, 1, 1. I'm saying it out loud for myself. Back in the day, whether it was the Quran or the King James Bible, if you were transcribing it, they made you say every letter and every word out loud. So the likelihood that you made a mistake as you're doing it was narrowing it down. I don't want to train my students to do that though, because then you'll just have a cacophony of frickin' people saying row reducing that when you're in an exam. It's amazing how quiet you can get 1,000 students, 1,000 20-year-olds to be once you're in the pavilion and it's go time. And then I'm a jerk and I go, it's Mario, let's go, with the microphone because no one wants to use the microphone. I did that with Maimonat for Zarmarad and a couple people. They didn't think it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I actually did that in the pavilion. Let's go, it's Mario. The students laughed or they looked at me funny. All right. I can erase this now. Did I transcribe that correctly? I think I did. I hear typing. People are already here. Is Jasper here? Jasper said he was going to show up. I'm not even on the... Wait a second. There's a really good Japanese show out called Alice in Borderland. Log in. Just wait. The tutor wizard. I changed the password. Now I got to change the password. Just wait. I lied. I was not ready to go. Oh, it's making me third party. I logged out of all accounts because it scared me. They were giving me money and I panicked. I wasn't used to getting money. 360. It's like, this has to be an error. Cancel everything. That's amusing to me. Okay, now we're in Stream Manager. No, I get it. I don't want to do that. Okay, we're good. Toward the man. See, they always use a handle, and I don't know who it is, and that's why. Okay.
Yeah, I just said we're working through the solutions. We'll take requests afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. Send a PDF or whatever, because I don't know what that means. You said a lot of words. Tone back. I'm an old child of a boomer. I don't get these generations, and I'm not calling myself one of those things. But I don't know which one I am. But son of a boomer. I don't understand your lingo in the chat. I barely know how to operate this. Also, now what are we going to do? I should probably say it because we're on the stream. And can you see that still? Yeah. We're going to do row 2 goes to, it's the same move, row 2 minus 2 row 1. And we're going to do row 3 goes to row 3 minus 2 row 1. So this is also a good tip. I got a lot of tips for you. But I'm not even going to entendre that when I see what I just said. As I say it, I heard it. I heard it. I heard it. But if you do these two things, we're going to do them one at a time, but then you only have to write one more augmented matrix out instead of doing every single one. The students at first, every move that they make, they're having to copy out that huge matrix. So instead, I'm going to do that. On an exam, you quickly write down the rows you're not going to change, equals 0. And then now we're going to do this. And another good thing that you can do is this. You can take this guy and multiply by -2 because that's effectively what we're doing. Even when you were knee high to a grasshopper, what you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side of the equation. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get goose eggs. That's why we did it. So 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. -1 plus 2 is 1. 2 minus 4 is -2. And 1 minus 2 is -1, and 1 minus 0 is 1. If I make mistakes, we'll see, but this is the solution, so let's try and tone that back. I don't make mistakes. 2 minus 2 is 0, that's why I did it. It becomes a mantra. 1, oh, I can get a 1 from a 7 and a 6, that's a 7. Mark, I see how clever Mark is. Mark was reverse engineering these are definitely Marks. If you know what you're doing, then it'll be easy in the next move. Now what am I doing? -2 plus 2 is 0. 3 minus 4 is -1. 2 minus 2 is 0. He was like, I just want some zeros. I'm sick of this. And then 1 minus, that's why you put the 0 there because it won't change that guy. 0. And then we're going to get fractions. Are we going to have 1/7 fractions? Is that what everybody did? That's not what I'm doing. 6, 7. No? Nobody's going to yell it out. Yeah, good answer. You get a bonus mark. There's a few students in my classes in graph theory that would be happy that I said 6, 7 though, because she was like holding back saying it. She really wanted to. I'm like, you can weapons free. You can say 6, 7 when I say it. All right, so this is now, we're going to interject because we're doing this. I don't like training pigeons on a stool. So what we're really asking now is, I want this to be a 1. The greatest common divisor of 6 and 7 is 1. How do I know that? Because, well, let's just do it. 7 is 1 group of 6 plus 1, and 6 is 6 groups of 1 plus 0. So the penultimate remainder is the greatest common divisor, and this is the linear combination. That also tells me what the solution to the Diophantine equation is going to be, but I was going to say, what groups of 6 plus what groups of 7 equals 1. And this Diophantine equation has a solution if and only if their for the 1, it's if and only if their GCD is 1. So that it is 1, and then I have the solution here. I don't even need my magical table that I usually build, but I'll show you the table I build. No, and then I need this. And so all I need is the 1 quotient, but the table's overkill. So there is a mathematical table I can show you that I stole from Andy Liu, but too bad, Andy Liu's gone, and I'm not giving credit. I'm going to solve for the remainder. 1 is 1 group of 7 plus -1 groups of 6. So that was a whole bunch of math in my mind. This is probably why you didn't like math, because it's a twisted ball of yarn. The more that you know and the more that you can connect, these things are not mutually exclusive. So what that says is my solution here, the smallest solution that we can get is not positive specifically, but that says 7 times 1 plus 6 times -1 is the 1 that I want. And I leading 1 was my point, without dividing by 6 or dividing by 7 and having a bunch of horrible fractions. So I'm trying to avoid fractions for as long as I can. That was the really long way of saying 7 minus 6 is 1. 7 minus 6 is 1. But then I can couch it into opening up a whole different, if those numbers were 17 and 13 are also relatively prime, but it's not as easy to guess what the coefficients are going to be. If I wanted a 13x plus a 17y equals 1, that does have a solution because the GCD of 17 and 13 are is 1 because they're both prime, so therefore relatively prime, but it's much harder to find what the x and y are. So this is why I tell you that, even though in this one it seemed trivial. Subtract and use Diophantine equations instead of dividing lazily. Otherwise, there'll be a whole lot more work. All of you that complained on the assignment when you got there, you didn't know about Diophantine equations. You probably divided by 6, I'm going to guess, because it was in the upper row. And then Mark is laughing at you. And that's why I laughed at myself, because he gave you a 7 to subtract. The long story short, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do row 3 goes to row 3 minus row 2, which is not that hard of a move. I got to get on my knees now. I'm going to have to start begging pretty soon anyways. So, can you see me anymore? The disembodied hand.
That eyeball on the back of your arm there.
Okay, yeah. That's why I always tell my students I don't have eyes on the back of my hand, but I do on the back of my wrist. And that's the heart chakra. I didn't realize also. So I literally tattooed my heart on my sleeve. Damn it. Yeah. Whoops. I don't care at this stage. 6, 1, -2, -1, 1. It's from Alex Gray. Alex Gray. So now, I see you. I see you. Where is that? It's up here somewhere. So 7 minus 6 is 1. 0 minus 1 is -1. -1 minus -2 is 1. 0 minus -1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. That's much better. Then we can interchange if you really want row 2 and row 3 interchanged. Here I come. Here I come to save the day. Jumping here and there and everywhere. We are the gummy bears. Those cartoons, little tunes will never stick in those kids' heads. 0, 1, -1, 1, 1, 0. And then, yes, if you're new on Twitch, Mean Machine Rex is here. I still don't know who any of these people are, and it bothers me. I don't know whether I want to bring you into the fold or kick you in the teeth, and it bothers me when I can't tell. Now we have a leading 1, but it's good to see that even though I just disappeared at the end of last semester, that people are still going to show up. That just went down my lung. Esophagus. Okay, now what we're going to do is row 3 goes to row 3 minus 6, row 2. Write that out for yourself. This is patent pending. I didn't invent Gaussian Jordan elimination. It was Carl Friedrich Gauss and Wilhelm Jordan, but I'm 3M'ing it. Do that for yourself, and then you can see the move you're doing. And then more importantly, when you do it on an exam, I can see what you're doing. All right. 6. So what we're going to do is copy it out. 1, -3, -1, 2, 1, 0. 0, 1, -1, 1, 1, 0. Now 6 minus 6 is 0. That's why I did it. Oh, we're going to get a 7. 1 minus -6 is 7. -2 plus -6 is -8. Oh, I see the fractions. So it is 1/7, Mark. But do you see how long I lasted without getting... See how long I lasted? Note to self. This is 7, and then 1 minus 0 is 1. Right? So then the fractions. So now, is this REF? Yes, it is. And just as I promised, because Abby showed me. By the way, Abby, we are going to have to send that email because they don't like me anymore. And she was the one that sent me an email saying, I like your enthusiasm and your energy every day. I can't believe you got a complaint. So yes, these two ones, oh no, this one's wrong. I was wrong. Back it up. But it's these two columns that don't have a leading entry. So I now look at, this was my linear system, x3, x4, x5. That's not the right one anyways, it's this one. Yeah. And I have 3 leading entries. So as stated, because I had less equations to start, you can do this for yourself. Here's another hot tip. If you just write this out, now I have a 5 by 5 linear system essentially. And then you can see I have 2 rows of zeros in REF. So what is REF? If you had 0 rows, which you already vacuous or which you already a priori did have because they didn't give us enough information, it was underdetermined. I do have 2 rows of zeros, 2 rows of no information is essentially what that says. And then now I have leading entries. I have 3 leading entries. Do I have zeros below those leading entries? Yes. And do I have the staircase, which in words is in any 2 non-zero rows is the leading entry in the upper row further to the left and the leading entry in the lower row? Yes. So this is REF. I like to go one further and divide by this guy, but we can do that in the equation. I like to have leading ones. Mark says for all intents and purposes, especially when he's thinking about A's and B's such that you have one solution, no solution, infinitely many, it's better to leave it like this, and then that's when you get your cases. So I see why he does it, but now, I'm going to divide by 7. So that's a 1, and then that's negative 8 over 7. That's negative 1, right? And then that's 1 over 7. Okay, good. It didn't hurt so bad. Now I have my 3 leading ones and we can solve. So what that says is if I did this correctly, these 2 guys, you can use ChatGPT or whoever to check.
I recommend Desmos.
Desmos, okay, yeah. Desmos has a everything calculator.
It does. It doesn't show steps. But
Okay, it's good for a tool, not a crutch. Yeah, okay. So the disembodied voice, if you didn't hear that, recommends using Desmos system calculator. What do they call it? Matrix calculator. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't know to put the 1 in the equals, but if you know what you're doing, the last row is the equals vector. Yeah, okay. So now we have to back substitute. I don't recommend, if you are doing this for the first time, which I'm going to assume most of you are, or if it's the second time you really didn't like it because you're taking it again. So what you want to do is, now that we have the REF, this says that if you get focused on looking at horizontally. Once I do that and I'm in REF and I've made that correct assessment, now I want to quickly look vertically for the free variables. This column now has a leading entry. This column has what I call the leading entry because I boxed them off, and this entry has a leading entry. But this column and this column don't have leading entries. So this one is going to be S and this one are going to be my free variables. That's how I tell. That's in the orthogonal complement, Tim. I know, yeah. Those will be the ones. Tim knows what's up too. I'm just being pedantic at this stage.
But you didn't verify that the vectors are orthogonal to each other.
Okay, that's Pavlov 1. If my students are doing this, what's Pavlov 1? They're orthogonal if and only if their dot product is 0. So we'll do that in a second. And yours were only 3-dimensional, so I'm doing yours, not these horrible hot messes. This hot mess. It's my party. I'll cry if I want to. Oh, so what are we doing? So we're back substituting. So what that says is x4 is S is free and x5 is T is free. So I have 2 of them. This means that it's a 2-dimensional hyperplane, or it's a 2-dimensional plane in the 5-dimensional hyperspace called R5 is where we're working technically. But there still is a weird geometric interpretation of this because I got 2 variables and I had 2 rows of zeros. It's a plane of solutions in 5 space is what's happening. Now I need to back substitute and find x3, x2, and x1. But this is what the equations are saying. You forget that what this says is now, this one right here says that x1 times x3 minus 8 over 7 x4 minus plus negative 1 times x5 is equal to 1 over 7. So this is not through the origin, so this is not a subspace because it's a subspace if and only if it goes through 0, because you have to have 0 in your subspace, and it goes through 1/7 is the point that it's going to go through in x3 coordinate. But now we solve for x3. So now this is still a 1-by-1 equation essentially, because this guy now is S, I called it, and this one is T. So this is a 1-by-1 linear system because I filled in S and T. I couldn't narrow down what these 2 guys are. They're free to be anybody. But now x3 has to depend on them is what's going on. So x3 is 1 over 7 plus 8 over 7s plus T. That's x3. Box it off. x3 is 1 over 7 plus 8 over 7 s plus t. Also notice how I'm only doing fractions now at the end because I was smart and used that Diophantine equation. SMRT. I am so smart. This one says 1 times x2 minus x. Oh, I see why they started to hate us now, because we have to do all the adding. Plus s plus t equals 0. I've already added in x4 was s, x5 was t, x3 is this hot mess. So that says x2 is equal to, I'm going to bring it over, which is x3. So I get 1 over 7 plus 8 over 7 s plus t minus s minus t. So that's not so bad. I don't know why they're complaining. I put an 8 there. That's an s. So they're complaining. But nobody pointed out how to do fractions correctly. Let's use Go Halloween. I have denominator 7. Oh, there. Now I can add the fractions. That's not so bad. So what does that say? X. Let's write it over here. Just in the nick of time. 2 equals 1 over 7. The same point. Huh. And then what would I get? Oh, I got 1 plus 1 over 7. 8 minus 7 is 1. Check. That was for me. That was for me. S. Good. That's not so bad. And then now the last box that off. So now all we need is x1. So now this is probably where they hated everybody. 1 times x1 minus 3x2 minus x3 plus 2s plus t equals 0. Now I have to bring them to the other side. x1 is equal to 3 times x2, which is 1 over 7 plus s over 7, plus x3, so plus 1 over 7 plus 8 over 7s plus t. The fractions don't give me a nightmare though. One of the kids was talking about self-deleting himself because of all the fractions. I was like, take it easy, take it easy. We'll get there. We'll get there. Minus 2s minus t. But then I showed him the dirty trick of they just didn't show you how to add fractions right. And he's like, no, I don't want to self-delete. He passed the baton to me. Now I do. Damn it. x1 is 3 over 7 now, plus what do we have? Plus 3s over 7 plus 1 over 7. I'm just getting rid of the brackets. Plus 8 over 7s plus t minus 2s minus t. And then what we're going to do is, because it's denominator 7, we have to put 7 over 7 and then minus t times 7 over 7. Did I make a mistake? Tim's whispering about stuff. x1 is equal to, the constant is this guy. So now, oh, this one has to be a 7. Oh, I don't even have to do that one. Bang, bang. That one goes away now. So this one is 4 over 7 plus what? Now what did I get? We only have s's. So this is plus, let's go baby steps. This is 3s over 7 plus 8s over 7 minus 14s over 7. So what is that? 14 minus 11 is 3. So that says x1 is 4 over 7 minus 3s over 7. Box that shit off. That poop off. No swearing in your classes. These guys have virgin ears and you're offending them all. Well, I got in trouble for it, and then I was here when my daughter had her girlfriends over, and then we were talking about that, and they're 17, and they were just giggling about the beta. So what does this say now? Now let's write this out nicely and show you. This is the solution, but let's see why it's a two-dimensional plane in 5 space. This now says I have x1, I have x2, I have x3, I have x4s, and I have x5s. Equal, 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 equals. And then now let's go through it. x1 has a constant in it. I'll go slow. Minus 3 over 7s. Who has s's and who has t's? x2 has 1 over 7 plus 1 over 7s. x3 has 1 over 7 plus 8 over 7s plus t. And then x4 is just an s. You can line it up if you want. This just has an s, and this guy just has a t. That's the parametric equations of a plane in 5 space. Why? Because now I can write it like this. Equals, 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 equals. What's the constant vector I have? The constant vector I have is 4 over 7. 1 over 7. 1 over 7. No, no. plus who's the vector in front of S and who's the vector in front of T is what I'm asking myself. So now, does this have S's in it? Yes, it has negative 3 over 7. Does this have S's? Yes, 1 over 7. Does this have an S? Yes, 8 over 7. Does this have an S? Yes, 1, and this has zeros. Who has T's? No. No. 1. Oh, no, 1. So now you can see this is the parametric, we call it because there's a parameterization of, if we were going to do the integral of this, the surface integral, this is the two-dimensional plane in 5 space through this point. So it's not a subspace because this has to be through the origin, and it's not. But this is what they're talking about in this scenario. The geometric interpretation of this is it's a two-dimensional plane inside 5 space through this point. This is your P naught plus S times V, or U times T times V, which is the parametric equations of a plane. If you had 3 parameters, it would be the 3-dimensional hyperbulk inside 5 space, the tesseract. Next. Can I throw you under the bus? Now Lorenzo says he cheated, and because that one had a solution, I don't have to do much work in the next one. Then we'll get to Tim's stuff.
Well, I could have been wrong in just remembering the old assignment. So
I just remember Tim can't hear himself, but he's whispering, and his whisper's louder than he thinks. And then I just hear, and then I hear Ed. But the funny thing is, I hear Ed Leonard, because in my last semester of my undergrad, they came to me and they said, you can't graduate unless you take a science credit. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you're missing a 100 or a 200 level science credit. And I'm like, isn't math science? They're like, yes. So I took 222 discrete math, the easiest math class probably that there is from my point of view. And so I took this and I sat in the front row as I always did with my beard and my bad attitude. But we would always talk about the class and the solution and stuff. And Ed Leonard would say, I know you're enthusiastic and I know you're talking about the subject, but I can hear you in the back of my mind as I'm trying to write. Shut the fuck up. And so listen to Ed Leonard. You know who Ed Leonard is too. That's why I told this. I know. That's why I told the story.
Professor stories mid-class are always more appreciated than you think they are.
Yeah.
Let me just say that.
I like Jasper. Can you change your name on my request, Jasper? I want it to be Jasper the Brony and not Jasper the Horse. I see why you did it. And if you were one, it's right there.
He works with horses.
I know he does, but he's also, I don't know if I outed him, but he's a brony. I'm pretty well a brony too. Look, who's that one? You'll tell me. It's Rarity and...
What the hell's a brony? What the hell?
Yeah, okay, yeah, he'll explain. But yeah, where is it? I put up the remnants of my brony days. Well, I'm having a private conversation live on Twitch with Jasper. Leave us alone. All right. But there's my evidence that I really like. I've seen a lot of those cartoons, more than you think. I have a daughter, though. That's my excuse. It's my excuse. I didn't say it wasn't. I really like Adventure Time. So does Deadpool, by the way. What were we doing? 2C. All right, I need to bring this up again. Where's 2C? 2C or not to see? A blind man picked up a hammer and saw. How many tools did he pick up? I like secrets. I guess let me rephrase. If you're going to whisper, just say it in the regular voice.
Okay, what's the name of the cartoon from the 90s with all the little munchkins? There's the one chick, and everybody used to make jokes about Smurfs, yeah.
Yeah. In German, it's die Schlampe. And she's a die Schlampe. She's a little Schlampe. Oh, we're losing.
99 Smurfs.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jasper's saying his favorite character is Diamond Tiara, especially after she redeemed herself.
Okay, I haven't got that far. I didn't see that. I haven't seen the last. What season is that? You're like 17 or whatever. I've seen the first 16 seasons. But okay, we'll talk about this in detail. I'll go start watching them and then I'll catch up. What's the dragon's name? He'll know this too.
I'm sure Jasper will Season 5, there are 9 seasons.
There's 9 seasons, okay, yeah. But this is of the new age one, not the first ones from the 80s when the gummy bears and all the schlampa were out there. And that Smurfette was whoring around. I mean, hey, she did the math the same way as all of these 304s do. She's like, okay, I'm living in this village. Do you know what a 304 is?
Yes, let's stick to
Do a transformation of 180 degrees rotation of that. And then
which is equivalent to a reflection about the vertical axis through O.
oh, now we're talking about symmetries of a square, which is the dihedral group. He's trying to divert me from fucking pointing these things out.
And goes back to math.
Back to math. Oh, that's my favorite even number is 304.
There you go. All right.
It's
Yeah, this one may or may not have a solution. I honestly forget.
If it does, this is not dissimilar to now it's overdetermined. Now it's 4 by 3. And this is how same guy, Carl Friedrich Gauss, came up with least square solutions. Because if you have a spring, Hooke's law says there can only be one spring constant. But then what he would do is he would stretch it this far and get an equation for it. And then he would stretch it this far and then get an equation for it. And then stretch it at different lengths. Some men are longer than others. And then you get a bunch of equations, but there only has to be one k value. So then he would use the least square solution to the one that fit the best fit of this. And so it's overdetermined because you only have one unknown, but then you have to stretch it a bunch of different lengths.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where it comes from. And then I got this from Mark again because you have to go to the source of what they're doing. So this is overdetermined. The first one was underdetermined because we didn't have enough equations. We had 2 rows of zeros the whole time. So it's underdetermined. I can't narrow down uniquely who anybody is. 2 of them had to be free to be anything. And then the other guys depend on them. Now all I have is 3 unknowns, but I have 4 equations. So one of them has to go away, which we won't need. And then either there's a contradiction, hopefully, or there's a solution. This is the other caveat where now Mark is also a genius because he's put this in here because even though we get a row of zeros, this is how he baits students into saying infinitely many solutions. Because they're like, you said in the last row of REF, if there's a row of zeros, it's infinitely many solutions. If it's not overdetermined and there's not a contradiction above it is the caveat. So let's get to it. Let's augment the matrix. 1, 3, 5. I just said a lot of words, so let me backtrack and then we'll get to there. And I'll.
Caveat makes me ask myself, are you eating fish eggs? Small enough.
Yes. Smurfette's fish eggs. Oh, you said that grossed me out. All right, I retract that.
It belongs to the internet now.
Like it'll go away, right? No one will that won't get back to me on a Zoom meeting and then have them clap it at me in a meeting. That'll never happen. All right. I'm fearless if nothing else. It might get me murdered, but I'm fearless. Yeah. I will not cow. I will not bend the knee. All right. We do have Mark has given us a leading 1. I'm going to guess. Can you see that some of these horizontal vectors are linear combinations of each other? Yeah, neither can I. So let's go back to the mantra of don't be a smarty pants and a smart ass. When do you make a decision in REF? In REF. But I have a leading 1. So what we're going to do is row 2 goes to row 2 minus 2 row 1. Notice we use row 1 for everybody to kill those 3. Row 3 is going to go to row 3 minus 4 row 1. And row 4 is going to be row 4 plus row 1 because I have a negative 1. So we're going to do those 3 moves. And then I only have to write the matrix out one more time. Negative 2. And then you can still do this that we were doing. This is going to be multiplied by negative 2. That wasn't the 1. I got in trouble for that. Stop throwing the markers. That's fucking toxic masculinity and awfully aggressive. I throw them in my basement, though. I can do that. I aim at the cats. It never gets them. So 2 minus 2 is 0. That's why I did it. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. 4 minus 10, uh-oh, now I got to do real. 4 minus 10 is negative 6. 3 plus 4 is 7. Now we're going to multiply by negative 4. And we're going to do 4 minus 4 is 0. That's why I did it. 3 minus 12, oh crap, is what? 9, negative 9. Okay, that one seems reasonable. 4, oh what? Negative 20 minus 4, negative 16. Okay, I can do that in my head too. You get throwing numbers at me, Mark. Stop that. Negative 1 plus 8 is negative 7. Okay, if I did that correctly. Now we're just, this one I can do on my own. 1 minus 1 is 0. That's why we did it. 6 minus 3 is 3. Oh, 11 minus 5 is 6. Okay, that's the one.
Adding row 1 to row 4, shouldn't that, try again there, buddy?
So we're adding. We're adding. I was subtracting. Zip, yep, zip, yep, yep. That's how you backtrack it on the internet now. It never existed. Most people would say mistakes have been made. I'll say I made a mistake. Yeah. Okay, yeah, good. What was I doing? Stop never correct me again, but you're right. So negative 1 plus, I got to get it in my head. We're doing plus 1. There. See how that helps me? That's 0. That's why I did it. 9. Okay, yeah, you're right. Oh, 16. Oh, so Mark did do it. And then negative 7. Now I can see it. Can you? We're going to do row 4 plus row 3.
Can we backtrack just for a quick second? I think double check row 2. Row 2 minus 2, row 1.
Is this wrong too?
I apologize if I am mistaken on this one.
No, math is a dialogue. It's not a monologue or a dictatorship, and we're not educating people. We're providing an environment for which you can learn. And if you tried it and you made a mistake, this is the daunting part about math. I don't get it right every time. If I make a mistake, I go right back at it. You're like, I guess I don't know how to do math. Can I have a different problem? No, this is exactly what I was talking about. So let's back it up. Back it up, make it clap. No hands. 2 minus 2 is 0. That's why I did it. Negative 3. Oh yeah, minus 6 is negative 9. That was not the right number, was it? This one's 16 too. Negative 6 minus 10 is negative 16. Can you back that up? Yeah, because we want these are the solutions. I said it's right. How many lights are there? 5 lights. 7. Oh, okay, so we get 2 rows of zeros. I'll take it. I'll take it. And then let's do this one, row. Okay, so we'll do that to row 2. Okay, good. Because you were poisoned with knowing the solution already.
I gotta double check this because if I had to bet, I would have bet that this one was.
So just a sec. Yeah, hold that thought. Hold that thought for a second. Let me do the computation and not make mistakes, or make a mistake and try again. Science is not the pursuit of truth, you sycophants. It's consistently correcting your errors, but in there is caus plurium interrogationum. You have to admit that you made errors to correct them. So this is row 3 minus row 2, and that should give me 2 rows of zeros. 1, 3, 5, negative 2. And then now this should give me 0, negative 9, negative 16, 7, and then we get 2 rows of zeros, right? Which means that, yes, we have infinitely many solutions. Yeah. So,
I think row 3 right hand side. Should that have been a positive 7 or a negative?
let's try.
Positive 7.
It should, this one?
This guy, yeah, that's the one, right? So we're doing.
Now it should have been multiplied by 4, right?
Yeah.
So let's try again. 4 minus 4 is 0. Negative 12 plus 3 is negative 9. I got that. I crushed that one. Negative 20 plus 4 is negative 16. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, cool.
So then there.
Doesn't really change much.
It does, though. I don't have to do any more work. Thank you. Or 1 or not 0, let's call it. So no solutions.
Oh, no, that one was still a 0.
What? You're confusing the fuck out of me.
Apologies. Yes, but that you were right the first time. It is a 0.
4 minus 4 is 0. 3 plus negative 12 is negative 9. Yeah, wait a second. Now I'm doing too many things. Okay, where was I? Row 3, you said I wanted to do 4. So I was being pedantic, and now I don't know where I was. See, the laughter I had to use my now I got to use my serious. I got to use my serious brain. 3 minus 12 is negative 9. 4 minus 20 is negative 16. But that does give us a contradiction, so we were both right, technically. Negative 1 plus this is positive 7, but these are negative, so when I add them, I'm going to get 14 here. No, wait.
No, you're good. So you have an identical row, right? If you go row 3 minus row 2.
One of them gives me a zero, a non-zero there, right? So let's do this one. This one kills. So this row is 0 for sure. But now this one doesn't, right? No, they both do.
Yeah, they both do. You were right the first time. Yeah.
I don't know what ending you were talking. That was the slowest no I've ever got.
You're good. You're golden.
Now I have to do. Now I was happy because I thought there was a contradiction. Now I got to go back. Okay, let's do the operation we're gonna do. Boo boo boo. Just wait. Let's interject some of this. Are we good?
You're golden.
Tim's like, I don't know. I was thinking about Smurfette. I've got her down here somewhere. No, just wait. Let me rephrase that.
My search history has a combination of nerve agents and Smurfs.
Yeah, I've got a figurine of Smurfette down here somewhere. I don't know where she is. Let me rephrase that. I got her tied up down here somewhere. I don't. Let me go check my. Let me go check my false wall. So this is. I'm going to do negative 1 over 9, row 2. Are we good? Are we good?
You're golden. Yeah. No,
I think what this does is builds morale. Just because I said I was going to blow the whistle and we're going to go over the trench walls and I'll be the first one on the killing field and the last one off. Sometimes I get shot. Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm going to catch a stray once in a while. It doesn't mean I'm invincible. So now we're going to get 1/16 over 9, 7 over 9, negative 7 over 9, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Well, this one didn't make. Well, let's talk about the caveat. If I'd had these rows of zeros, but then there was a contradiction. So say if this one was where I thought now we had a negative 1, say, or something like this. This isn't our system, but just for pedagogical reasons, not pedantic, pedagogical. This would say, this is where I thought Mark was going to bait them, because there's a row of zeros. If you don't turn your thinky brain on, you'll be like, well, there's a row of zeros, and then you said there was infinitely many solutions. But then when you went to go solve the system, actually, you would think that there's something weird there, and you realize, so this is the caveat, which started the whole Smurfette thing. This row of zeros would tell me that, yes, there would be infinitely many solutions, I say, as long as there's no contradiction above. And there wasn't. Also, it wouldn't give you infinitely many solutions because all we said was there was a superfluous row. But it turns out there was two. Not only was there a superfluous row, there was 2 superfluous rows. 2 of those equations were the same. So in some way, shape, or form, he just took those 2 equations and listed them in linear combinations of each other. So they killed each other. But now, because now I have our. Let's reassess. Are we in REF? Use the mantra that I'm supposed to stick to. Yes. I had 2 rows of zeros. The rows of zeros go below any non-zero rows. Do I have leading entries? Yes. Are there zeros below those? Yes. And do I have the staircase? In any 2 non-zero rows is the leading entry in the upper row further to the left and the leading entry in the lower row? Yes. That's the mantra. So I definitely in REF now. And we can make an meaningful decision based on, also I'll give you credit, especially on an exam, If I made a mistake or you made a mistake in the numbers, now from this stage on, I'll have to take half a mark off because you made a mistake somewhere along the way. But from here on in, if you make the correct assessment, that's what I'm looking for. In REF, we have that X3 will be free because this column doesn't have any leading entries. And so this says X3 is free. And then X2 is negative 7 over 9. I'm going to Captain Morgan. Minus 16 over 9t. And then X1, we're going to have to do some work. I can come and stand over here by the wizard. And it's Frodo and Sam. Sam looks an awful lot like Smeagol. I don't know why he drew him like that, but okay. So this is X1 is negative 3x2 minus 5. Sorry. Negative 2 minus 5x3. So then that means x1 is equal to negative 2 minus 3 times negative 7 over 9 minus 16 over 9t plus minus 5 times t. So x1 is negative 2 plus 21 over 9 plus, what is that, 48? 16 times 3?
45.
16 times 3?
Oh, 16. 48.
Let's try, yeah, okay, good. A deaf guy over there. What? Didn't say nothing. 48 over 9. Time waits for no man. I think my right ear is completely going deaf. If I'm like laying in bed with the pillow, I can't hear the door knock. It's only tonight.
To my world.
I know. I stood by. It's not like I stood by a 1963 Fender amplifier for a lot of years. It's like I can't hear a goddamn thing out of this ear. This one's good, but this one's dud. So that was 48 over 9t minus 5. 5 times 9 is.
45.
There it is. So then that's not so bad. I don't know why everyone was having a panic attack. This is 9 times 9. So it simplifies. It's scared. Mark scared you with the big numbers. But 21 minus 18 is 3 over 9, which we can simplify in a second. I know. And then this is plus 48 minus 5 also. Oh, it's just 1/3 plus 1/3 t. That wasn't so bad. So what's the solution? The solution is x1, x2, x3 equals. What do I have now? I have 1/3. I have negative 7 over 9. I have 0 as a vector. If we're looking at the geometric interpretation of this, plus something times t, which is the parametric equations of a line in 3 space, which we're going to get to in our class fairly soon. Now, what was it? 1/3 negative 16 over 9, 1. So this is the parametric equations of a line through this point in the direction of this vector in 3 space, which is the geometric interpretation of the solution of this overdetermined system. Ah, good.
Oh, nice. Right on. I think the next 4 questions aren't as bad as long as.
You just want me to keep going? Dance Monkey, what time is it? I gotta go.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, we need to chop this up into sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 20 after 2.
Yeah,
Okay, do you want to save the other one?
I wanted to play Mario with my friends for a little bit and then go away. Well, I guess we could stream that, but yeah, I gotta sell Lego to the neighbor because one of their little kids has a birthday party, and apparently I'm the creepy old man that he didn't have to say creepy, but that hands out candy and toys to the neighborhood kids. So I gotta go do that. All right.
The solutions next time.
Yeah, I'll finish them off tomorrow. Probably I'm gonna do a stream, even if they don't come over. I'll do a stream. I'm gonna do it all week. So I'm back, baby. I got no job as of June. Actually, June, you're stupid. It's August is the end of the semester.
All right.
Now end it.